Hey everyone, what have I got a doozy for you lot today? I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to drink my coffee. I'm just going to hang on for a few people to join because I've got some information to give you all. It's information you're going to need going forward. Let's just put it like that. And this is a doozy. It really is. I've been baffled by this stuff for the last 3 months. I've spoken to a lot of clients personally one-to-one about this stuff. I've spoken to friends one-to-one about this stuff. But now's the time for me to bring it to everyone. Everyone needs to know. And I'm not the only one that's brought this out, by the way. There are many others that have come out with this information or similar to what I've had to, I've gone within, I've figured this stuff out, and it's also been backed up by research. So I'm not the only one, let's just put it like that. But I'm just going to, like I say, I'm just going to have my coffee. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join because, trust me, you do not want to miss this stuff. And if you do miss it, make sure you come back to this at a later date if you're busy. So, hey, somewhere in time, Taro, how are you, my sweetheart? I have a chin mag while I'm waiting for people to join. Yeah, oh, thank you, my darling. I don't feel that. I had a right nasty cough. And now my bottom lip's all swollen. Ugh. You thought, I don't know what that is. I think it's an ulcer. I'll have to cover it with the red lippy. Yeah. Felt a bit tired today, actually. I literally got back from the school run, gave the kids the tea. And before I could really eat anything, I felt I ended up falling asleep on the sofa and had a bit of a nap. I woke up and I thought, what time is it? I was like, oh, God, it's 6 o'clock. Get the kids ready for bed. Yeah, it's now just gone 8:10 here in the UK. So hello from the UK to the world. Hey, the one. Hello. Hello. So then, you guys, a lot of crazy stuff has been happening, and it's just going to get more crazier. 12:13 p.m. in LA, yeah. 20:13 p.m. in the UK. So, yeah. 14 minutes past 8 now. So then, we need to talk. As most of you know, I've been going through my own spiritual ascension. I've been through 2. I went through one last year, and I've gone through another one this year. Many of you have been with me from the start, are very much aware of that. What you're probably not aware of is that I'm not the only one. Most of us who have already, if you notice here, I've, slipped a bit, got my smoky quartz in my hand. This is staying put while I discuss this stuff. For those that don't know, smoky quartz absorbs negative, low vibrational energies and vibes. Those that don't know. And mine has come straight out of the cave. It's unfasted. This has just been dug straight out. So, hey, Sandy. Hey, Gina. Like I was saying, for those who've been with me since I hit YouTube, are very much aware that I have been through 2 ascensions, levels, should I say, of the same ascension. My own personal friends in the tarot community are very much aware of that as well. Some of them have been going through their own ascensions. Now, what I want to say to you guys is, I've got so much. That's why I'm calling this part 1, because I cannot reel off absolutely everything that I know in one session, because by the time I'm finished, some of you are going to end up in a fucking mental institute. So let's just do this bit by bit. Bit by bit. There's people that are very close to me that I haven't been able to talk about this stuff with because I've sensed their vulnerability and their lack of open-mindedness. So let's get into this. So I've sipped my coffee. I'm not the only one going through these spiritual ascensions, or should I say levels of the same ascension. When you go through a spiritual ascension, you're effectively being tested by the higher being, by the higher God. As we ascend, we are becoming one with, the first level is becoming one with your guides, one with your loved ones. And this doesn't even mean you have to be in contact with them. This is just feeling their presence, feeling their energy. Through the first levels of ascension, you tend to find that what's not serving you falls away from you, like water off a duck's back. And it can be extremely painful. And any level after that is still going to be extremely painful in many different ways. It's going to drain you. It's going to zap your energy. It's going to bring all ailments to the fucking surface. It's going to bring all pain to the surface. That is what happens, because you have to, for one, correct yourself physically, and for two, to correct yourself emotionally and mentally. So everything that you tend to face throughout an ascension is a test of your character, a test of your strength, a test of your will, and a test of your intelligence to notice when something needs to change. We tend to find a lot when we're ascending that we tend to self-sabotage quite often, but that is normal. That is to make sure that the people that end up leaving your life are meant to go. And again, this is just more about stepping into your power with this stuff. So enough about my experience. Now's the time to fill you all in on the experience that you guys are going to go through, because this is worldwide. The world is changing. The world is changing in a very big way, and I'm very excited about this, but I'm also very nervous at how everybody else is going to cope, because not all of you are going to handle this stuff very well. But every human being, everyone that's a part of the human race, is going to feel this. And I was talking with Star Lord Estara about this the other day, and it's all in the lead up to the age of Aquarius. And if you actually do some research on the age of Aquarius, you will see that this has been in the plan lines for years and years and years. This has all been planned out. Now, I think the first part of this is I want to explain how the world is changing and what this means. So when we talk of, this is why I have to tread carefully, because I don't want to scare anyone. But I am going to have to go into exactly what spirit guides are. I am going to have to go into exactly what demons are, because they are not what you think. They are not what you think. And what have I always said? I've been preparing you guys for some time now. What I've always said, I'm skeptical of demons as they appear in the media. It is not what you think. Maybe we should start there so that this can actually shed some light on fears that you guys may have. Because don't forget, when you go through ascensions, you're being tested on your fears. Low vibrational energies love to lap up your fears, unfortunately. So let's actually talk about that first. Let's put some clarity out there for those that are not aware. I don't like to use the term demons. I prefer low vibrational energies, okay? Because I don't believe, if you say demon, you automatically think of something stupid you've seen in a horror film, and that's not the case, okay? So when we talk of low vibrational energies, they are energies that you manifest yourself, okay? They are energies that you pick up from other people that are in low vibrational states. And there are ways to protect yourself from these energies that other people emit. So, for example, when you think you've had a hex put on you, 9 times out of 10, you're just picking up on somebody else's bad vibes. when we start to feel jealous, when we start to feel in despair, when we start to feel sad and depressed, when we close ourselves off in a bubble and it's a very negative outlook, I can't, I can't, I can't, I won't, I won't, I won't. We are emitting, we are for one manifesting, but then we are also emitting a negative, low vibrational energy outwards. For one, it's going to surround you. And for two, it's going to surround anybody else that you're in contact with that has an emotional connection to you as well. So this is something that we need to bear in mind moving forward. We're all going to emit these low vibrational energies at some point in our lives. It is relatively natural, to say the least, okay? But from a spiritual point of view, they are absolutely nothing to be afraid of. Sometimes we think we see shadows. Sometimes we think we hear footsteps. Sometimes that is just your subconscious trying to tell you that something's wrong. And don't forget, you feed enough fear into a manifestation, it's going to create that level of negativity that's going to stick. And the deeper you let yourself fall into it, the less chance you've got of pulling yourself out of it in good time. Unfortunately, stubbornness is not a virtue that aids low vibrational energies. When we're stressed, when we have money worries, when we're in debt. Low vibrational energies. And guess what? If you're under the influence of low vibrational energies, you are easy to control. By whom, you may ask? We'll get to that maybe in another part. Not what you think. What you think is not what you think. I'm just going to love with you all. Now you've all been fucking brainwashed since you were born. You've all been brainwashed since you were born. Let's go into spirit guides. My spirit guides, Thomas and Angela. They are my best friends. They love me. I love them. We talk of them as spirit guides. They are high beings that we can telepathically connect with. And this was a hard reality for me to face. My belief system has been shaken to the core in the last year. Something that's taken me a long time to get used to. But they're high beings. They are higher levels of intelligence. I won't use the word alien. But they are real to me. You guys may have your own experiences with this, and I urge you to seek that, which we'll go into in a moment. When we speak of spirit guides, they are always going to be that voice in the back of your head that tries to push and guide you in the right direction. That's where we get that from. Because we can't necessarily see them, doesn't mean to say they don't exist. I know firsthand they exist. The near misses in my life that I've had, when they came to me, they were very clear with their message. I have a purpose, but I'm not the only one. And a part of my purpose is to awaken at least my portion of the planet that needs to be awakened. And for me, that's just my subscribers and my followers for now. But you're going to start to find that every spiritualist is going to start coming out with this stuff in the next year. I'm not the first and I ain't going to be the last. You are going to hear more and more and more about this stuff moving forward because you'll no longer be able to be ignorant to it. It's going to get shoved in your face. Not all of you are going to like it. That's why now's the time to prepare for this stuff. That's why let's feed you little bits that you can handle. The reason why a lot of people who have got in tune with their spirit guides, with their high beings, okay, some people would say the fifth dimension. That's relatively true from my experience, okay, not of the fifth, but from their point of view. their purpose is to reconnect us with our roots, to reconnect us with our planet, to take back our planet from the evil that's engulfed it, okay? So, for example, the entire globe has, I suppose, what you could call grid lines. You know, spiritual grid lines throughout, and they run, some run through England, okay? Stonehenge, Easbury, yeah? We're on the right track. You guys are going to have sacred ground all over the US. Some may even call it Indian burial grounds and stuff like that. These grid lines are lines of energy that feed straight through the planet. We have got the ability to tap into those grid lines. I shit you not. I don't know how, but I'm learning. And this stuff is going to come later on down the line. We have got the ability as human beings to be self-sufficient with our own planet. Okay? And unfortunately, well, I don't say unfortunate, this is very fortunate. Fortunately, that also includes being at one with each other. There's experiments been done. You can research the stuff that if, and you know, thousands and thousands of people meditated together for the same goal. I think one was done, I watched this on YouTube, one was done where 7,000 people came together to meditate, and the goal was for a war to stop, for a war to end, or for a battle to end. Literally within a day or two, yeah, that stopped. It's the power of the mind. Okay, as human beings, we've been very suppressed with the powers that we hold. Okay, we've been very suppressed. We've been suppressed by elitists. We've been suppressed by the cabal. We've been suppressed by politicians. We've been suppressed by money. We've been suppressed by each other. Okay, and people organizations. For example, George Soros, he controls people's organizations. Okay, and that includes opposing organizations. So when you start hearing of, you know, religious organizations, for example, Jews and Christianities being an issue there, Islam and Christianity there being an issue there, things like that. Okay, this is all brainwash tactics to get you guys at war, because guess what? The power of the mind is a big thing here, and they are so afraid of this. Separate, you're weak. Together, you can achieve anything. And I mean anything. We are higher beings in our own right. But we've been so suppressed into tapping into that energy because we've been brainwashed into thinking we don't have that. Now, people can argue that the reason why the elitists and the cabal have suppressed this on us is an opposing alien race infiltrating the cabal and the elitists. You may read stuff about that. I'm skeptical. I believe that when I see it. Okay, if the truth's going to come out, it's going to come out in the next couple of years. We'll know by 2020. Okay, we'll know. But even if that is the case, and they are maybe another alien race, very, very sort of scared of our ability as human beings, they have had this in place to suppress us from tapping into these kind of energies, because we probably could be the most powerful race in the universe. You know, for who knows what, the possibilities are always going to be endless. But I know this sounds very fantastic, but you know, when you actually sort of research this stuff for yourself, it makes sense. I suggest some of you actually check out a guy called David Wilcock and go listen to him. He spells this stuff out so much better than I could. Go check out, go Google or YouTube David Wilcock, and a channel called The Edge of Wonder as well. Those guys are absolutely, I forgot what the host names are. No one's called Rob. because he's dead cute. And I was like, oh yeah, I can watch this. But at the same time, the stuff that they've been reporting on makes a lot of sense, okay? But I want you guys to bear in mind, I was already getting information about this sort of stuff before I researched it. I researched it because they planted a seed. I just want you guys to bear that in mind. So now I'm doing you guys a favour and planting a seed for you lot as well. So like I was saying, even if there is this competition of races or whatever it is, and they're very much afraid of our power, so they decided to suppress it to stop us becoming, I suppose, the supreme race, whatever. Again, it's very fantastical, but it's a theory. It's a theory, and that's all that's ever going to be. Like I say, until I see proof, then it's just going to be a theory. But the cabal will have their own reasons for suppressing this anyway. Now, what I do believe more so is that they've suppressed us for the sheer fact that they want that power, okay? Now, this does, as I won't go into the elitists and the cabal too much at the moment because I want to prepare you guys because this stuff gets bigger, badder, and scarier, okay? And the worst thing I want to do is scare anybody. You have to be in tune with the planet. You have to be grounded. You have to be of sound mind. You have to be very open. And you have to understand what unconditional love is in order to deal with this stuff. Because if you're in any way or shape or form unstable, this is going to affect you in weird ways, okay? I'm not even going to lie. I went a bit doolally myself earlier this year. That's why I'm going to take baby steps with this and allow those who feel they are ready now to go research it themselves. But let me talk about connections. How can you connect? How can you meditate? What does meditation do? So if I have this issue, and I've had it with a few people that I've really, really, really wanted to see them connect, really wanted to see them meditate, and some just haven't been able to. And I've always sort of had this niggle in the back of my head as to why. And the simple reason as to why is their mind isn't opened enough. Your mind's like a cage or like a grid, okay? And when it's sort of been sealed up so long like this, and there's going to be a number of factors that have caused this. For one, it's going to be anything that can brainwash you. Magazines, TV. You're living in a bubble. Just a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Katy Perry tried to tell you guys in one of her songs. She tried to tell you the truth. Yeah? Just letting you know. She tried to tell you. So you guys have been living in a bubble. She's connected, by the way. She's connected with this too. But yeah, you guys have been living in a bubble. So there's a lot of brainwashing activity been going on. And they couldn't individually figure out how to control the masses. So the only way that they could do that was to split everybody up into groups that could call themselves victims. Because if you're so focused on being a victim, you're weak. You're easier to control. So that was the first port of call, is to separate you all and label you all as victims. That includes medical victims. That includes victims for sexual orientation. That includes victims of race, religion, etc., etc. Like I say, to separate you weak, together you're strong. The sooner you start identifying as nothing else but a fucking human, the better. You are going to need to moving forward. In other words, drop the label. Drop the label. I am nothing except a human. I don't identify as anything else other than a human. Together, you are strong. Separate, you're weak. I know I sound patronizing here, but I really want to shake you guys to the core and wake you up. I really want to. I really want to really shake this up a little bit and just show you how brainwashed you are. An awakening process has got to take place for you guys to understand and deal with this. What's coming is not nice. And yes, it involves your politicians. Yes, it involves your governments. And yes, it involves the 3 pillars of the elite. Soros, the Rothschilds, and Saudi Arabia. Go do some research. And this has got nothing to do with conspiracy. Like I say, my guides planted a seed and I followed it. When we start becoming insecure over who we really are, we forget who we really are. We're human beings. We're some of the most powerful beings in the universe. And they are stopping us reaching that full potential. The grid lines throughout the earth, we can tap into that and we can make practically anything happen. Where on earth did you think the pyramids came from? Where on earth did you think Stonehenge came from? Our ancestors knew this. Brandy Smith, how long do the headaches last? Months. And I mean months. You're going to have some sleepless nights. When you accept and you agree to go into this awakening period, yeah, you can cave in, but guess what? You ain't going back. When you choose to let them take over and help awaken you, that is exactly what they're going to do. But you have to be willing for that to happen. So when we talk about meditation, meditation is always going to be a great way to deal with your ascension, especially if you're suffering pain, loss, physical ailments. Because what happens in ascensions is, especially if you've got long-term conditions, an ascension tends to bring it out to the surface so that you can correct it. For example, like me with my B12 this year, funnily enough, some of you guys are going to want to do your own research on B12. It is one of the most natural forms of supplement that your body needs. But guess what? The tablets are not going to help. They do not contain the right chemical aspects that B12 that your body needs in order to fix itself. Your body is such a... We have the power to heal ourselves, okay? We do. But the way the government's laid out our dietary needs, it's made that more difficult. So, for example, B12, you get B12 from your soil, okay? B12 is from the soil and it is absorbed into your vegetables, okay? So when the government is endorsing pesticides into the soil, guess what? It is killing B12 vitamins in the soil, so your vegetables aren't absorbing it. When the cow eats the grass, it's not absorbing it for it to go into the meat, okay? So again, this is something that a lot of people who go for ascension tend to notice, is that their energy levels will just drop out of nowhere, okay? You have to push. Not every GP is going to give you the test willy-nilly. You have to push and push and push to get that test. So I do suggest that any of you that are experiencing that, you're going to have to go push and get the B12 test. It costs a lot of money, so your GPs don't offer it willy-nilly. You're going to have to push, because I can promise you now, I ain't the only one that was B12 deficient. You're all going to be B12 deficient because there's no B12 in your food. And your vitamin tablets don't contain the right element of the B12 that you need. No over-the-counter chemist is going to sell you tablets to fix it. You need the injections. I'm pushing you all, because you're going to need your energy to go through an ascension as well. That's why this stuff's brought to the surface. So, I'm not saying all of you are going to have this issue, but I am saying a lot of you who are going to agree to this now rather than at the last minute, you're going to be so much better off doing this now than at the last minute. That's why I'm releasing the video. I'm urging people to start doing this now. So let's talk about the meditation. I've been on and off this topic for a while now. I need to talk about the meditation. So I have never had an issue with meditating. I've always been able to see through the mind's eye. but not everyone can. But guess what? You've all got the ability to do it. When somebody tells you that they're psychic, that they have special gifts, that they can do things that you cannot do when they put themselves on a pedestal, it's probably the biggest lie in humankind. You all have the ability to tap into that. You do. Every single one of you. And as time goes on through ascensions, because the world's going through its own ascension, and obviously, as we know, when the globe goes through an ascension of its own to fix itself, i.e. earthquakes and volcanoes going off, weather changing. When the earth goes through its own ascension, because we are as humans connected to our own planet, we feel it too. Okay? We all have the ability to tap into this stuff. Just some are faster than others. But that makes us know no one's above anyone. We are all on the same playing field here, okay? All reaching the same goal of spiritual enlightenment, which is exactly what we're going to need moving forward. And I'm going to tell you why you're going to need it. Just to not be scared shitless with the crap that's going to be coming out in the next 2 years. Like I say, you've all been brainwashed. You've all been living in a bubble. Katy Perry did try and tell you. So, meditation. Everybody's got the ability to meditate. If you find that you cannot focus, that you are struggling to meditate, as I was saying, your mind is like a grid. The more clogged up it is with brainwashing activity, okay, so that could be anything from TV, movies, even music sometimes, and not always. I actually find music very, very chilling out, and I can meditate to some music, especially if it's got a really good rhythm to it. But, video games are always going to be, that's probably why you see so many kids these days that are zombies, because that's exactly what they wanted. They wanted you all to be zombies. They wanted you all to be mindless drones that can go about your day without ever having to lift your head and see what's really out there. If you have to be grounded, but you have to be open as well. This is only going to happen when you're ready. This is not something that you can force, as I've had to find out the hard way with friends and clients alike. You have to be willing to shed. It's like now, I'm not saying everybody has to do this, but this is just something for me that helped. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't. I really don't. I don't watch soaps. I barely watch movies anymore. I gave up my DJing business because it was all a part of something that kept me on the hamster wheel. And I know deep down that is not what I'm destined for. No. When you're on the hamster wheel, you can't go looking elsewhere. You can't go digging for dirt if you're on a hamster wheel, can you? No. They wanted you to be zombies. And they were going to throw anything at you to keep you in that place. I'm going to urge a lot of you to go get yourself some smoky quartz. I think most of you are going to need it if you haven't already. And when I say go get yourself some crystals, I do not mean just crystals that you can just have on show. I mean crystals that you can take care of them. They're going to take care of you. Stuff like this really does absorb negative vibes, negative energy. If you start to, because we all make mistakes as humans. Don't forget, we're not robots like they want us to be. We are humans. We are going to make mistakes. We are going to emit a negative energy here and there. It's about how quickly you pull yourself out of it. It's about how quickly you realize. Okay? It's going to be from anger to sadness. You know, I always think if you go into anything you do with nothing but love and good intention and regard for others, You can't go far wrong, because as a human race, that is our true nature. We've been led astray by corporate media, elitists, big business, pharmaceutical companies that want to ply you with shitloads of drugs. By the way, you're going to find out your own governments are supplying drugs on the street. Your own governments are trafficking drugs in. Just a quick example of that. When Bill Clinton was president, when Bill Clinton was president, when he was governor of Arkansas, there was a big scandal of drugs being facilitated at one of Arkansas's airports. And it was all done under the order of Bill Clinton, just FYI. And that was big planes full of cocaine. So your own governments are feeding you the drugs that they're then paying shitloads of money to people, organisations and charities like George Soros to tell you are bad for you. Oh, you guys are trapped in a bubble that you won't believe how big it is. You really won't believe. Not going to lie, I've dabbled in the past, but you know what? Spiritual Ascension's kicked my butt into gear. They've legalised weed in certain places of the world. Just saying. Not saying that's a bad thing. Some weed's actually sort of one of the lesser drugs, but what I am explaining to you guys is if they're going to legalise one, be pretty sure they're going to legalise the rest. Okay? This is what's keeping the pillar of elitists in power, is drugs and gangs and trafficking, which we'll come to at a later date. That's really the one that I really didn't want to go into right now, is the trafficking side. I just wanted to talk about the spiritual elements to this first. Let's get you guys prepared. Let's get you guys geared up for this, because you're going to need a strong stomach. And the only way to get a strong stomach over this stuff is to become enlightened in some way. Is to be less fearful and more grateful that the end is nigh. So when we start seeing the world card as often as we have been just lately, just know this. The cycle is ending and a new cycle is beginning. And it's going to be more amazing than you could ever imagine. Your money at the moment has been backed up by crypto shit that's got no weight whatsoever. I'll give you a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. When your Federal Reserve is scrapped and money is weighed up by gold and silver instead of something that you can't even see, your currencies are going to look a lot better. Your finances are going to look a lot better. Some of you may even get debt swiped, because there's going to be a big reset on money. Okay? A massive reset. Another thing that's highly possible, and this was something that I saw in a vision, and I wasn't entirely sure what it meant until I followed the seed that they planted. A lot of you guys are going to find that energy is going to become free. Yeah, you might have to pay a small service charge, but you will not be paying the bills you're paying now. There is enough energy on this planet to provide the world for free. There is no shortage of fuel. There is no shortage of electricity. There is no shortage of gas whatsoever. Okay? It's all lies. This is the sort of stuff they use to control you. Energy will become free for all. We're going to enter into a new phase, the likes of which you guys have never known before. But like I say, spirituality's got to take part in this, because you guys have got to prepare yourself for the truth. And the hardest part about that is you do not need to know absolutely everything right now. If you feel like you can't handle it, walk away from this and leave it for now. But at least be open-minded to the fact that you are going to have to start making preparations in the next 2 years. This is going to go far and wide. The people that you think are the good guys are not. The people who you think are the bad guys are not. Flip the tables and you might start seeing things more clearly, but you are going to have to be open-minded. You are going to have to put your newspapers down. You're going to have to switch your telly off. You're going to have to come off your Facebook. I've posted occasional memes and stuff like that, but I don't interact with my Facebook as much as I used to. And when you're approaching any situation in your life, do it with nothing but love. If you show love and kindness to someone, it doesn't matter who they are. Remember the hippie girl who put the flower in the gun? Was it Vietnam or something like that? Back in the 70s? Approach your life with that same mentality. Approach other people with that same mentality. If you feel yourself slipping into despair, go meditate and ask your guides, your higher beings to take it away from you. If you don't ask, you don't get. Even if you can't connect to them, just ask. They're there. Each and every single one of you has them. And when you think that there is something negative around you, you grab your smoky quartz and you say, I know I'm emitting this. I know I'm emitting this because I'm the one with the problem. The more we start taking responsibility for our own feelings and actions, the better. Yeah? Which means stop playing victim. Stop blaming everybody else for your problems and the way you feel. Take responsibility and say, do you know what? I fell then. I fell then. Not going to fall again. Bye-bye negative energy. You can fuck off out the door. You ain't welcome. I'm happy now. I've released it. I'm happy. And that's how we've got to approach this stuff. And you'll actually find the more that you do that, the better your meditations are going to be. That is the key to your awakening. Yeah? I think that's enough for today. I may come back to this next week with the next chapter, which we may go a little bit more into the zombified world that they wanted. Because there's a lot of information there that may take me an hour to go over. I mean, this has just took me 40 minutes. So have a look at some of these comments. I'm intrigued. I do like to read the comments and see what's going on. And if anybody's looking at this saying I'm crazy, come back and comment on this video in 2 years. Don't judge me now. And I send you nothing but love and blessings because I have no bad feelings for anyone. Right, let's take a look. So, yeah, somewhere in time, Tarot, you've raised some interesting points, really, as well. Yeah, it's all for them to gain power. It's not for the good of humanity. The brainwashing our youth. That is exactly right. Somewhere, yeah, not scaring you. You already know. That's good. You must be going through some sort of enlightening or awakening at the moment, my sweetheart. Yeah, you've known about it. Brandy, yeah. Headaches, like I say, they can last for months. It's just about trying to channel them, you know, a little bit better. Brittany, try Ayahuasca to heal the internal problems. That's a good keynote for people to bear in mind. Suffered from migraines all my life. Have to go for shots all the time. Yeah. During recent meditation, I saw Chrissy Stevens, she saw bombs going off. It scared the shit out of you. If you get visions, pay attention to them because sometimes they're quite literal visions. Sometimes they are metaphors. So when they say dropping a bomb, you're going to hear of a key term. Some of you can Google this. I ain't even going to mention it on my channels today because otherwise it's going to take me into a whole different kettle of fish. But for some of you are going to hear the term boom, boom, boom. Bombs away. It doesn't necessarily mean real bombs. It's a metaphor for shockwaves. Something that's brought out to light that's going to shock the world, okay? That term has been used by a specific group of people. We can go into that at a later date, okay? But right now, I'm trying to stay with the spiritual side of things, because I really do feel if you're going to dig into this stuff, you need your spiritual awakening first. Right. Garbage in, garbage out, negative. Exactly. Brandy Smith, you're very wise, Chaos Tarot. Yes, it's been coming for a few years now, Brandy. This is nothing new, but thank you. I don't want to be the only one that knows this. I don't want to be the wise one. I want you guys to be on this level with me. That's what I'm asking. Let's all get on par. Let's get out of this bubble. Let's get on par with each other. That's where we need to be. Because trust me, we're all going to need each other to support each other. Because this stuff ain't going to get any easier. So, yeah. Somewhere in time, Terry, it's all lies. They want us to believe we need government to take care of us. Don't get me wrong. We do need some level of leadership. But not in the kind that you think of in a government. We need something a little bit more low-key than that. But the people that are in place at the moment, there's going to be a few shockwaves, these boom, boom, boom moments coming. For a start, a boom, boom, boom could be when that hits the public. I'm assuming that's going to be the confirmation of May, Merkel and Macron's resignations. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yes, easy to control a zombie, not crazy. I believe the same. I'm glad some of you understand what I'm trying to say here. I was recruited in 2013 after a failed suicide attempt. I was in the hospital and I had a dream where I heard voices tell me, we need you to help save people. I had no idea what it meant at the moment. Christy, I think you know now. I had a very similar set of voices telling me the same. In the form of Thomas and Angela. At the time. This was at the time. So, you guys, I've been full of cold and I just need to blow my nose. I had to get serious with you then, though, because I had to shock your systems into waking up a little bit. Just bear with me 1 second. Full of cold. Again, you know what I've noticed as well, you guys? You know, if I have a moment of negativity in any way, shape or form, like if I get angry or over something, or if I become emotionally unstable over something, I always notice that it comes out in my health. Like I'll get a cold, or I'll feel really drained. And it's like, if the sooner I release the negativity, the sooner I'm better, the sooner I recover. If I hone in and focus too much on the depressive nature of that negativity, the longer, like something as silly as a cold is going to last. And again, energy is very real, you guys. Energy is very real. So yeah, Brandon Smith, I don't understand how they can think you were crazy, because like I said, you're very wise. Some people do think I'm crazy. Some people think I'm a chuffing nutcase. But you know what? Like I say, judge me all you want. I'm past the point of being bothered. And this is what puts me on a different sort of spiritual level that I urge everyone else to reach. I don't want to be up here on my own. I'm not saying I am, because there's plenty of other people that are on this level or higher, or coming up to this level, you know what I mean? And we're all going to experience our own individual journeys. But the key to this is coming together as one. And when people below sort of pick fun or judge those that are in these levels, you don't feel anger to them. You don't feel you have to rise to it anymore. You can wish them all the love and the happiness in the world, and you can be okay with that. You don't have to upset yourself over that. People could say really nasty things at times, and like I say, this is just more about saying bless you, bless you. And it's not in a pitiful way. It's not in a you're going to see one day. You know, the human side to me won't say that, but the spiritual side to me kind of slows me down and says, no, they'll realise eventually it's fine. And I just come out and I just emit, no, positive energy, loving vibes. And that's just how it's got to be. And that's just how it's got to be. So yeah, not everyone is meant to in their lifetime. Not everyone is. But like I said before, the problem that you guys have got right now is the fact that the world is going, the globe itself is going through an ascension. And as human beings, just like any other alien race, we are connected to our planet. When the Earth starts to go through its ascension, it kind of, because we are connected to our own planet, whether you like to admit it or not, we will be pushed into going through this ascension anyway. I'm just trying to prepare you guys for that. So, you know, like I say, the spiritual lines that run throughout the globe, it's a grid. The whole globe is a grid. And like I said before, where do you think the pyramids and Stonehenge and stuff like that came from? They came from our ancient ancestors who knew and understood this. So, unfortunately, sweetie, yes, everyone is going to experience it in their lifetime. If you're alive and breathing now, you're going to go through it. What I'm saying to everybody is, it's better that you realise this now and become one with your own planet, one with your own spirituality. And it's like my point back to the meditation. If you're trying to connect to your higher self, to your higher guides, to your higher beings, and you don't even love yourself, then no, you're not going to connect right away. And by the time you're forced to connect, some of you will probably be sent batshit crazy. When us as tarot readers are trying to tell everyone, the time has come to love yourself, to learn to love yourself. It's being said for a damn reason, whether they realise it or not. This is about connecting with yourself. This is about being at one with yourself. It all starts with self-love. And when I say self-love, I mean loving everything that you are as a human. Learning to love your fellow humans because they are your brothers and sisters. The rest of this is going to be a piece of cake. Once you can get past that first step, the rest of this is all going to fall in place. Many of you haven't been able to connect with your guides because the first rule of thumb when it comes to a spiritual awakening hasn't been put into practice, hasn't been learned. And that is to love yourself for everything that you are. I'm not perfect. I'm not. But I consider myself imperfectly perfect. That's the difference. And I want everybody else to come and join me. I want you all to come and join me because this feels so good. This feels really nice. And I ain't bragging. I genuinely want you guys with me. I want you guys right here with me on this level. And let's really make the most of this awful situation that we're being faced with. So, yeah, I think I'm going to leave that there. Kate, what do you think of ayahuasca? I'm not sure what that is. You mentioned it before. And I'm like, yeah, for those that want to know what that is. What is it? Sorry, I'm skimming through. Me skimming through. Stacey, I'm finally learning to love myself and it's taken many years. I easily love everyone else. Does everyone have spirit guides? Everybody has got guides. We call them spirit guides, but a lot of people are going to start finding out that it's not just your loved ones and angels that are walking side by side with you. We've also got the higher beings who I try not to label. Because, yeah, they may be a different race, but to us, but they are still higher beings with the highest good intentions. So we could consider this to be telepathic communication, if you catch my drift. But like I say, this is deep stuff that I don't want to scare people with. We're talking about fifth dimension stuff. So, yeah. The Peru elixir sometimes causes hallucinations. Is that it? Ayahuasca. Let me have a look. Let me Google it. Oops. Hold on, you guys. Let me have a look. Let me Google it. Oh, it's an ethogenic brew. Banisteropsis carpi vine and ingredients. Spiritual medicine. Used in ceremonies. Oh, so it's from people of the Amazon. If I'm perfectly honest, you don't need a substance to do this. You don't need anything in your system other than your oxygen and your blood. Go stand next to a tree. The tree emits oxygen for you. The tree gives you life. That's where we get the term the tree of life. Because the tree gives you life. It gives you that oxygen. You don't need any substance in your system whatsoever, except for that peace and love for yourself. You're going to need it. You're going to need it. Seriously. So, yeah. Brand Smith, yes, thank you. Yeah. At least we got to the bottom of that. But, yeah, truth be told, you really don't need anything in your system in order to accomplish this. You can do this with just the air in your lungs and the blood in your veins. That is more than enough. And I've got Charlie poking his head down here. What do you want?
I've had enough, and I got Charlie for your phone. I've had enough.
Go on, take it and bugger off. Okay. Charlie taking my phone. He ain't staying on that. It's only because he's what's it called? Weekend. I'll let him stay up for an extra half an hour. So yeah, okay, my cousin this past September went to Peru. I didn't know. She came back really messed up, was hospitalised 4 times, mentally unstable afterwards. Now, this could have been a fast track to an awakening. That's why I say you don't need stuff like that. That may have been too much. You know, it's like people who take LSD and have these psychedelic spiritual enlightenment trips that may be too much information in one go. It's going to send a person crazy. That's why I would rather approach this in a very human way and give you guys just little slivers moving forward, because this is the start of it. This is part 1. Next week we'll broach part 2, and there may end up being many parts to this, but again, this is what you're going to need moving forward. And this is no joke, by the way. If you take this planet, if you take yourself, if you take your loved ones, your kids, your grandkids, the grandkids you've not had yet, their grandkids, if you take this stuff seriously, you start paying attention now. There is a life that you don't even know that is possible for us. And it's coming. And the worst thing that you want to do is purposely put yourself in a situation where you are mentally unstable because of this. And this isn't something I want money for. This is completely free. I want you guys to do this. That's why this is going out live. This is not something I want to be doing private sessions for. So don't even, I'm just going to put it out there, do not email me for private sessions over this. You want a tarot reading? Fair enough. This, no. This is all going to be released at the right time when I feel you guys are ready for it. Some of you may go off and do your own research. In the meantime, that is your choice. But no, I'm not going to force everybody to have to face this all in one go, because I will end up putting a few of you in mental institutes, and I really don't think that's necessary. The time is now. The time is right for me to start putting little bits out every now and again. You may start to see other people on YouTube, especially tarot readers and spiritualists, talking about this stuff. And as we move forward, there's a few confirmations that I want to give to you guys. Your world most certainly is changing. There's nothing we can do to stop it. All we can do is move with it. Don't go against the grain. It's the worst thing that you can do. Your whole lives are changing. This bubble that you guys have been living in is going to pop. And I don't mean a small bubble. I mean a global bubble. I mean everything that you thought you knew. You're going to start to see how brainwashed you guys have been. You're going to start to wake up to the reality. Okay? Other things that I feel are certain is that before the age of Aquarius, which I think Starloddist Tarot pointed out was in 2025, before the age of Aquarius, this is going to be set in motion in a big way. And there is nothing you can do to stop it. And I can also guarantee you're going to see a lot of truths uncovered. You're going to see a lot of bad people exposed. You're going to see people exposed for heinous crimes that aren't easy to understand, that aren't easy to believe. And it is that kind of stuff that I'm preparing you guys for. That's why I say let's start small. Let's start with the spirituality first. Let's get you guys on an even playing field. Because you do not want to miss this. Our world as we know it is changing. Our guides and higher beings have had enough of seeing us suffer. That's why more people now than ever are awakening and realizing that they can communicate with something that's not there. And they're not crazy. If you go to your doctor and say you're hearing voices, what they're going to tell you? Going to tell you schizophrenic, going to tell you that you got problems. We as spiritualists know that's not the case. Or sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And what you're also going to realize is everything that you thought you knew about good and evil is going to shake you to your core, but in a good way. This stuff is going to help release you guys. And it's going to be so good for you to reconnect with your own planet again. I can't. I'm trying. I can ground myself. That's probably about as far as it goes. Actually trying to get myself to a plateau where I can connect with the Earth's grid lines is an issue that I'm struggling with, but I am working on it, okay? Because I need to be able to connect with the Earth. I need to understand why the Earth is going through the change that it is, as well as the human race going through the change that we're going through as well. So, you know, so when time to, okay, they give you a bunch of meds to dull it down. They give you a bunch of meds to shut you up. Yeah? They put you in mental institutions to shut you up. They put you in prison to shut you up. They've got all manner of ways they can keep a lid on this, but unfortunately for them, there are people of the light that are weeding out the rats. Just know this. Where there is an action, there is always a reaction. Wherever there's a negative charge, there is always going to be a positive charge. We've been in a cycle of dark negativity for a very long time. I couldn't even count the years. And the Earth's awakening. We feel it with the ground, the volcanoes going off. We feel it with earthquakes. We feel it with so many different things. Weather changes, etc. That is the Earth's way of saying to humankind, I don't like what's going on and I'm waking the fuck up, so change fast. That's the Earth's way of communicating with you as a human being. Science would tell you otherwise. Spirituality would tell you that. There is a lot of good in this world. There is a lot of good outside of our world that is trying to help this world. There is a lot of good everywhere. So rest assured when I say that this is nothing to be afraid of, that this is for the best. This is for humankind. This isn't for one particular creed, colour, race, whatever. We won't be doing labels anymore. Did you know that the Native American tribes never had a label? They were man and woman. That was it. They were man and woman. That was it. And you would find tribesmen that were homosexual. You would find tribeswomen that were considered lesbian. But they never had a label. They were just man and woman. They were humans. And they were accepted throughout their entire community as humans. These are the ancestors that I'm talking about. They're one of the very last civilizations to uphold that kind of humanity. That is how long we've been in a fucking bubble. So I understand you get frustrated with mob mentality. Mob mentality, these people have been brainwashed. So you have to try and sympathize with them. You have to say, this isn't the person that I know they really are. You have to put the flower in the metaphoric gun. You have to wish them nothing but peace and blessings. Because by the time they come around and realise what's been going on and how used they've been, they are going to need support. And for those that are waking up to this now, we're being trained in a sense to be able to support the rest. To say, welcome to our real world. That's what this is. That's where this is going. Okay. So frustration, again, is something that needs working on. We're going to have to start exercising more patience with people. We're being so brainwashed, we've lost our touch with patience. I can become impatient sometimes, but you're guaranteed I'm going to emit a negative energy. In doing so, I can become angry. I can become annoyed. But the way I work is whatever negative impact, force that sort of comes from within me, and I take full responsibility, I do. You have to. You have to. Well, I get a negativity that comes from me, and I know it's coming from me. You can't do anything about anybody else's behaviour. I've been prepping you guys for this shit for how long. You can't do anything about anybody else's behaviour. You just have to wait for them to feel like it's their time. All you can do is fix your own. And we start with forgiveness, forgiving yourself. And you do it because you love yourself. You realise you are enough. Whether that's on your own, part of a team, it doesn't matter. You realise that you are enough. You realise that what we're all going through as a collective is meant for the greater good. It's going to bring a whole new way of life to the lights we've never known before. This bubble that you guys have been in, this hamster wheel that you guys have been on, that's going to have to stop at some point. You don't, and I have to remind people, you don't live to work, you work to live. Some people need reminding of that. My tiring is my job. But do I let it send me crazy? No. When money sort of slips a little bit, we shake it off and we keep going. Emitting negative energy because of life's mishaps is exactly the kind of clogged up bubble-like mind that I'm talking about. This is about learning to reconnect to the source, because that is where we're supposed to go now. And when we hear about things like the apocalypse and stuff like that, it's a metaphor for life as we know it ending and a whole new life that we can step into. It's a metaphor. When we hear prophecies that the world's going to end, the world as we know it is going to end. But we're not. We are, and this, like people will say, when the world ends, we've got to be saved by another race. We don't have to be saved by anyone. We're quite capable of saving ourselves. And this time, all you're going to need is a bit of spiritual enlightenment to save yourself. That's it. Because otherwise, this stuff's going to send some of you crazy. I'm not even going to lie. And I don't want to see that. That's why this is going out now. Let's sort this out now. Let's get this ball rolling now. For those that want to go and research this, feel free. Try not to scare anyone in the process. I've still not really been able to broach this in full with my loved ones. They're not ready. They're not ready. This is baby steps. This is very much baby steps. And it can sometimes just start with letting people around you know what you're going through spiritually. So that by the time something hit, a spiritual awakening has to hit them, at least they're not so afraid of it because they've already seen you do it and you've survived and you're still in, you're still breathing. And if anything, you're happier. And that's how this has got to go. So yeah, anyway, I think I've got to leave it there because if not, I'm going to continue. And I really don't want to give you guys too much too soon because I don't want to scare anyone. So yeah, we'll call that a day there. But like I say, a reminder, some of you guys are going to need to get some smoky quartz. It's just going to help, when you're feeling a bit negative, especially inwards, get some smoky quartz just to soak up that negativity so that you can actually see yourself for the true beauty that you are inside and out. Okay. We are all no different to each other. We're all made out of the same chronology. We're made out of the same genes. We're made out of the same material, tissue. This is it. This is what it is. Okay. And this is where we start to love each other because we are all one and connected. And we can connect with each other and make amazing things happen. So yeah, I'm going to leave that there. And don't just go getting yourself some quartz. It's going to look pretty on the shelf. Use the thing. Even clear quartz is going to help cleanse. I usually tend to use clear quartz to cleanse my cards or objects. Or if I've had a bad day and I feel negative energies that seeps into my clothes, I'll wrap the clothes in the clear quartz, around the clear quartz. I tend to use that for objects. The smoky quartz, this is something that you can really sort of feel it, taking that energy away from you. Actually use it. Don't just buy things and let it sit in a box. In fact, I urge you guys to, if you've got crystals locked up in a box, get them out. Get them out of the damn box. They're no good to anyone in a box. Put them at your bedside. If you've got a coffee table, put them on display on your coffee table, somewhere you can see them, somewhere they're easy to grab hold of when you're feeling a bit sad. It really helps. Get them out. Don't lock them away in a box. Right, I'm done. I hope it's helped some of you, and we'll come back to this next week. I'm going to do the air signs tomorrow. Right, and you guys, I love you all. You know I do. I'll see you soon.